Wow. Now I know what it feels like to be partially deaf. It's a good feeling. It really drowns out a lot of things you don't want to hear. coverkillernation here went to a concert last night. I actually traveled quite some time in order to get to this place. It was in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I, of course, am from near the Pittsburgh area, so basically think of it this way. I am here. This was here. I had to go like... It was ridiculous. It was a nice journey. It was about 5.5 to 6 hours, all depending on how many times my party and I decided to stop to pee, or just because there was a Wawa. Nobody knows what Wawa is on this side of the state, but whatever. Misfits. Misfits. What cannot be said about the Misfits? Of course, legendary band. Jerry Only and company just put out The Devil's Reign here about a month ago, and they came to Allentown, and it was a fantastic show, but that's not why we're here. I'm not here to just say it was a fantastic show and leave you all to, imagine it for yourself. It's time for me to attempt to reflect my thoughts on it in the style of a review. It's been a long time since the Cover Killer concert series have gotten the opportunity, and of course, I thought I was going to have many opportunities this week, but thanks to financial reasons and things like that, the Opeth concerts had to be taken off of my concert docket, which sucked. But anyways, the Misfits were there with 3 other bands. Now, if I make any mistakes with any of these 3 other bands, I apologize to the bands if you guys happen to view this. Mainly because I don't know very much about you guys. This was my first exposure to all 3 of you. And I just have to say that you guys, all 3, did a very good job. I am going to be critical, though. The very first band was a band by the name of Toxic Sunshine. Now, don't let the band name fool you. They are not necessarily going to be all about, thrash metal. I immediately thought of Toxic Holocaust and thought to myself, sweet! Then I heard Toxic Sunshine. I was like, who? Anyways, that's not the point either. This is a group that was out of the Philadelphia, Allentown, Lehigh Valley area, and they play an interesting blend of punk / metal / whatever the heck you want to call it. It reminded me a little bit of Blink-182 in some points. It reminded me a little bit of nice trade-off vocals in the punk variety as well. And this was a band, I hate to say it, guys, but the material that you presented in the first part of your set really didn't do much for me, and the reason for that, I think, is that they were a little bit disjointed in their construction, and it seemed a little lengthy whenever they could have been wrapped up very quickly. There seemed to be just a lot of time being filled with the same thing, the same idea. It's like you develop these songs kind of nicely, but at the same time they could have been compressed a little bit. But hey, that's your style, and you can do whatever you want with it. The latter part of your set was awesome. The latter part of your set was really concise. You had some dedications. You had, just some really good ideas. Like, you had some really good riff ideas that I really I loved and I enjoyed. And I liked the fact that you had 2 singers that were both willing to take the reins at certain periods of time. That's your one guitar player. My girlfriend made the comment, you kind of look like Kurt Cobain, only you're like a tall Kurt Cobain. It was kind of weird. However, I'm not sure if your bassist was new or anything like that. I think you were saying something about that throughout the show. I was wondering why he seemed a little static where the rest of your band was very dynamic, very into it. If that happens to be the case, then that's totally cool. But he didn't seem all that enthused, but I think it's probably just because it's a relatively new thing for you. That's my guess. I'm not going to actually knock you for it because let me tell you something. You guys do something that is not easy for a lot of people to do. It's very hard for people to go up on stage and perform. And plus, you got a nice reaction from the audience, so who gives a fuck what I have to say? Overall, good way to really start off the night. Now I feel like shit, because this band name, I forget. I know it's The Last Blank, and I can't recall the name. I have searched tediously on Facebook. I have looked everywhere to try to re-spark this memory, but this is apparently something that happens whenever you get old. You get Alzheimer's, and we're talking Alzheimer's within 24 hours of something happening. So I forget your name. You guys are a Christian metal band that blends some punk in with your metal, so it creates quite a nice atmosphere. Loved your cover of Whiplash. Very, very nice. You guys were having a lot of trouble though with your equipment, with the microphone and with the guitar. The guitar strap snapped off. That was kind of funny. That's of course nobody's fault, but that was kind of funny. You guys were able to rebound nicely. It was a good thing that he had a spare guitar there, just in case. A nice little thing to have. Really loved your guitar player. Your guitar player can shred like a beast. I give him all the credit in the world. In fact, you guys are a very tight band. I think a lot of people are still kind of kind of neither here nor there on the whole Christian metal band type thing. You know, a lot of people would say that you guys wearing Slayer and Pantera t-shirts and then saying that you're doing something for Jesus Christ is kind of an oxymoron, but hey, you do your thing, man. Not to mention, you guys were in the pit for the Misfits, so you definitely are all about the music, and not to mention, your thrash skills are definitely awesome, so I give you a lot of props for that. Very, very nice. Then we move on to Juicehead, the third band. In fact, the final band until we got to our main event of the evening. Now, Juicehead is just drenched in old school punk. I really loved this whole concept, this whole idea. It's like going into a time machine or opening up a time capsule. You just saw that old school punk attitude, and it was reflected. It didn't even have to be reflected in a lot of energy, like in a lot of movement. This was just being reflected by the vocalist's facial expressions and the mannerisms that he was able to get. The one thing I really don't understand, and this is actually on you, Allentown, I don't understand why you guys didn't give these guys a lot of love, because this is a very, very tight band. They're a band that oftentimes will tour with the Misfits. They're signed to the Misfits record label, and you didn't really give them a lot of love. In fact, it just seemed as though you were just like, oh, the song's over, yippee, next. As if, you know, Juicehead was their intention, the reason why they're there is to prime you and get you ready for the Misfits, and instead you just give us the fucking Misfits already. So that's on you guys, Allentown. That's not on you, Juicehead. Really loved your sound. Loved the cover. Really enjoyed the stuff. It was a very nice set. And I'm sorry that maybe the crowd was not as enthused as I was. That takes us to our main event, the Misfits. Now, for those of you who have never seen the Misfits before, I highly recommend it. If you're never going to see the Misfits because Glenn's not in the band, fuck off. Jerry only and the guys still do just a ton of great work, not to mention are just a fantastic band as far as showmanship is concerned, because they're doing rapid fire, multiple songs, right there in a stretch. All they're doing to really distinguish one song from the other is maybe saying the name of the song or counting off. That's right, you're getting long stretches that will seem like medleys to other bands, but these are not medleys because they're playing the songs in their entirety. So it's a very interesting, rapid-fire, intense environment, and one that is really haunting because of the atmosphere that they're able to create through their stage show, through the props that they have, through the fog machines, the very dim lights or the red lights, the very evil scenarios, just the way that which they look, of course. I love the drummer's makeup. I always like to call him Shark Boy. You know, Dez is looking like he should be in some black metal band, and then you have Jerry, who is just... I don't know, I feel like I'm at a WWE show and he's like in the Legion of Doom. It's great, and I loved it. They played awesome amounts of tracks from The Devil's Reign. Of course, they're pimping out their new record, which is very excellent. Of course, I did a review of it that was very seething toward the fans that were not going to give this a chance because of the same reason as why people may not go to the show. Fans were great. The atmosphere was wonderful. I have no complaints. I will see the Misfits again the next time that they come to town 100%. And I will review it for you guys, the Cover Killer Nation, because that's just what I do. Overall, if you have the opportunity to check out the Misfits before they head over to Australia, they're still doing about a handful more tour dates throughout the month of November. What the fuck are you doing not having a ticket? You should get it. It's fantastic. A great experience. One that I want to live, relive again and again. Including the lack of hearing, including the fact that my bones feel like gelatin, and including the fact that I have random bruises. But who gives a shit? That's what this shit's all about. Go, check them out, and I'll see you guys next time.